Welcome back, everybody. Astro Commander here. Today, as you saw on the channel, we're going to be doing Lightsworns. This deck is extremely fun and very dependent on luck as well. It's getting more like viability with the support it's gotten, but it's still just more of a fun deck. It's not probably going to ever be meta again. It was meta defining at one point, but as this channel is for, we're here for casual decks to have fun with. So, with that being said, I'm going to start with the monsters, and we're going to play 3 copies of Whis, Lightsworn Archfiend. You can place one other Lightsworn card from your hand on top of the deck, special summon this card from your hand. So, right there, choose carefully what card you put on top of the deck because of this next part of the effect, alright? Then send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. This whole deck is based on sending cards from the deck to the graveyard. So if you stack the right monster on top when you mill it, it can get summoned back. So just pay attention to that part of the effect. And then, if this monster is sent from the deck to the graveyard, if it's milled instead, you can target one other Lightsworn monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So this is a very good starter for this deck. Definitely more of a 3-of than most of the other cards in this deck, but I do run, I believe, 3 other 3-ofs. But this is the most important card in your entire deck. We then play 3 copies of Lightsworn Dragonling. If you have a Lightsworn monster in your graveyard, which 98% of these cards are Lightsworn cards, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can send one Lightsworn card from your deck to the graveyard, except Lightsworn Dragonling this. So, basically it's another way to just send another Lightsworn card to the graveyard and allow it to mill it and summon it again, because this deck is all about sending cards from the deck to the graveyard, like I said. So that's another, this is your other starter of the deck. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 dragon monster with 3,000 attack and 2,600 defense from your deck to your hand. So there's only really 1 card in this deck you're going to use that for, and that is your Judgment Dragon. That's your big boss monster in here. I love that card. My friends hate that card. So it's basically a board wipe. And then we play 3 copies of Raiden, the Hand of the Lightsworn. During your main phase, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Then, if any Lightsworn monsters were sent to the graveyard by this effect, this card gains 200 attack until the end of the opponent's turn. So, for each one of them that's milled, that's a Lightsworn card off this effect, he gains that 200 attack. So, if you hit like Wolf and Fleece, that's your best possible outcome, because then they both get summoned back to the board and he gets an additional 400 attack. And then most of these now that aren't the new support will have this effect also, but the amount varies, alright? Once per turn during the end phase, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. All these normally mill cards at the end of your turn, like I said, except for the new support, which were the first 2. We then play our final 3-of as Wolf Lightsworn Beast. This card is more just a beat stick, but it's a good 4 to go into rank 4s as well. It cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by a card effect. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, special summon it. So this is what I mean. If you put this back on top of the deck and then mill it with the effect of Whis, or if Raiden mills it, or any of these other monsters mill, he can be special summoned back to the field as an additional 2,100 attack body. I had a long night last night. Next, we play 2 copies of Lumina, Lightsworn Summoner. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon that target during your end phase. send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So Raiden was the top 2 cards of your deck. Lumina is the top 3 cards of your deck. So like I said, the amount varies, but most of them have that same effect. Then we play 2 copies of Felice Lightsworn Archer. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by a card effect. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard by a monster effect, special summon it. So once again, all your monsters that mill cards, trigger this one to be special summoned. If you tribute this card, then target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. Then send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So this one's the top 3 cards of your deck. So there's kind of a pattern here. Now we're to the one-ofs. I play Minerva, Lightsworn Maiden. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 light dragon type monster from your deck to your hand whose level is less or equal to the total number of Lightsworn monsters with different names in your graveyard. If this card is sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So once again, just more milling. At the end phase, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So she's just good for getting Judgment Dragon into your hand if you have 8 or more Lightsworns in the graveyard. And she just mills plenty for multiple various reasons. I then play 1 copy of Lila, Lightsworn Sorceress. You can target 1 spell your opponent controls. This card's spell position cannot be changed until the end of your next turn. Change the control from face-up attack position to face-down defense position, and if you do, destroy that target. So this is just another pop on the field for your spell and trap cards in the opponent's control. Great card just to get rid of a problematic back row. And then at the end phase, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. I play 1 copy of Jane, Lightsworn Paladin. If this card attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 300 attack during the damage step only. During each of your end phases, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. You must control this face-up card to activate and resolve this effect. Most of them, you have to control the card for it to go to the graveyard. This one just has it in the text because it is an older copy of the card. This one is a tech choice of mine. I kind of consider it a Lightsworn by proxy, and I just like the look of it, and it fits in with the archetype. So I play 1 copy of Guardian of Order. He's a warrior light monster, but if you control 2 or more light monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's just an extra body to throw on the board that's a 2500 attack. He's pretty simple to get out, but it's just a tech card I threw in there, and he kind of fits the archetype. And then, as I was saying earlier, for the boss monster of this deck, or one of them, you have Judgment Dragon. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by having 4 or more Lightsworn monsters with different names in your graveyard. You can pay 1,000 life points to destroy all other cards on the field. Keyword being all other cards, so he does remain. He does not wipe himself. During your end phase, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So he does mill 4 at the end, but once again, if you mill the right card, you just summon more monsters back to your field. So that is it for the Lightsworn monsters in the deck. There is a dark counterpart to them, which are the Twilight Sworns, which I run 3 of. I run 1 copy of Lumina Twilight Sworn Shaman. Once per turn, you can banish 1 Lightsworn monster from your hand or a graveyard, then target 1 of your banished Lightsworn monsters except Lumina Lightsworn Shaman. So, can't target herself, obviously. Most monsters can't in this game. Special summon it. Once per turn, if other Lightsworn monsters effects is activated, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So this just, once again, allows you to mill more if you activate the effect of a Lightsworn once per turn. So that's an additional 3 mills, could be 3 monsters that you could get. Like I said, this deck is based a lot around luck. I then play one copy of Reiko Lightsworn Fighter. If this card is normal summoned or flip face up, you can banish one Lightsworn monster from your hand or graveyard. Banish one card on the field. Another spot destruction. Most of the time this will be your monster effects or like your monster cards to banish, since Lila the Lightsworn is more your back row pop. But there could be times where it's just back row and you can pop another one of those. So, and then if it's the same as the other Lightsworn we play, if this card or if another Lightsworn uses its effect, you can mill the top 3 cards of your deck. And then you play the boss monster on their side, the Punishment Dragon. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by possessing 4 or more banished Lightsworn monsters with different names. Once per turn, quick effect, you can pay 1,000 life points, shuffle into the decks all cards in the graveyards and all face-up banished cards, except Lightsworn monsters. Once per turn, if your Lightsworn monster's effect is activated, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So, once again, that's kind of the flip side of the Judgment Dragon. It just allows you to get all the cards shuffled back in from your banishment zone, so you can keep milling from the Lightsworn side. So that is it for the Lightsworn monsters. I do play one small other engine in here, and that is the Performage engine. I play 2 copies of Damage Juggler. When a card or effect is activated that would inflict damage to you, quick effect, you can discard this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. During the battle phase, quick effect, you can discard this card, reduce the next battle damage you would take to turn this turn to 0. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Performage monster from your deck to your hand, except for Performage Damage Juggler. So it's just kind of to help you get saved if you're going to be taking battle damage. I then play 1 copy of Performage Hat Tricker. If 2 or more monsters are on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. When this card or effect is activated that would inflict damage to you, quick effect, you can place 1 Performage counter on this card, max 3. Then that effect damage to you becomes 0. When the 3rd Performage counter is placed on this card, its attack and defense become 3,300. So another way just to protect your life points, being as there's not a good way to do that except for the monsters in this deck. So we play the 1 copy of Hat Trigger. The last monster card and the last card in the Performage lineup is Performage Trick Clown. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Performage monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its attack and defense becomes 0. Then you take 1,000 damage. So he basically gets you a body back on the field, but you do take the damage. So it's a double-edged sword. I kind of just play it just because it's an extra extension if I want to. But you can only use this effect once per turn. And that is it for all of the monsters. So for the spells cards, we play 3 copies of Charge of the Light Brigade. Send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Add 1 level 4 or lower Lightsworn monster from your deck to your hand. So this is a great card to search out your Weiss, as well as milling 3 cards and hopefully summoning some off of that, due to the fact that if cards get milled, not all of them require to be milled by card or monster effects. Some of them, if they're just milled in general, will still come back to the field. So this is a definite 3 of in this deck. Most of the spells, or a big percentage of them, are searchers or mill power. So the next card is 3 copies of Solar Recharge. You discard 1 Lightsworn monster, draw 2 cards, then send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So once again, you can get cards in your hand, plus mill some cards and possibly get some more bodies on the board. I then play 1 copy of Rhoda, just so you can get any of the level 4 warrior monsters in your deck to your hand. So it's pretty straightforward. I play 1 copy of Reasoning. Your opponent declares a monster level from 1 to 12. Excavate cards from the top of your deck until you excavate a monster that can be normal summoned or set. Then, if that monster is the same level as the one declared by your opponent, send all excavated cards to the graveyard. If not, special summon the excavated monster. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. So, just another way to mill more cards. We play 1 copy of Foolish Burial. This is just an easy card because you can play it, send a card from the deck to the graveyard, and most of the time you can summon it off there if you summon the right or send the right monster. Normally I'll send like Wolf because I don't think he requires a monster effect. It's just if he goes to the graveyard. Another personal tech of mine I play in this deck is Constellar Belt. The activation of light monsters' effects cannot be negated. This is a continuous spell. So this is just protection to help you get your effects off without having any negates come at you. It's a kind of a card that can get rid of easily, but at the same time, they have to worry more about negating or destroying this card than your actual Lightsworn monster. So it's just a simple boost for the deck, just as a little more protection. And then the last spell card I play is just 1 copy of Monster Reborn. This one's pretty self-explanatory if you've been in the game a while. You target 1 monster in either player's graveyard and special summon it. So that's it for the spells. I play 2 traps. I play 1 copy of Lightsworn Judgment. Place this card on top of the deck. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard by a Lightsworn monster's effect, you can add 1 Judgment Dragon from your deck to your hand. So this is just searching for your Judgment Dragon, kind of like Minerva. But this one, if you mill it by the effect of a monster, you can get Judgment Dragon searched out that way. It's kind of a lot quicker than Minerva, but you also have to draw 1 of, so either way. It's a brick if you play it at 3, it's a tech if you play it at 1. So I then play 1 copy of Lightsworn Aegis. Target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Lightsworn monsters you control. Negate their effects until the end of this turn. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, you can set this card. Oh, if this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, you can set this card. Okay. So if it gets milled, set it to the field. Like I said, a lot of this just goes based off of getting milled to the graveyard, off of other card effects. So, as I said earlier, deck takes a bit of luck as well, but it is a fun deck to play. So that is it for the main deck. It's a 42 card main deck I play. You can play more, you can play less. You can throw in like the Asiju cards that aren't banned right now. You can throw in Bestials. You can pretty much throw in anything. I want to try and look at possibly doing like a Twilight, or not a Twilight, a Lightsworn Tearlament deck with what we have left out of the Tearlament deck. That deck got brutally destroyed by the ban list when it was high. Now it's just kind of there. But for the extra deck, we play 1 copy of Enlightenment Dragon. This is a combination of your Punishment Dragon and your Judgment Dragon. Must be special summoned from the extra deck by banishing the above monsters, 1 each from your field and graveyard. So normally you'll send your Punishment Dragon to the graveyard and summon or use the Judgment Dragon from the field, because Punishment Dragon is, I don't believe, actually summonable in other ways. So he is mainly meant to go to the graveyard for this effect to go off. Once per turn, quick effect. You can pay 2,000 life points, banish all cards on the field and in the graveyards. Once per turn, during your end phase, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add 2 of your banished monsters to your hand, 1 Judgment Dragon and 1 Punishment Dragon. Then you can special summon both, ignoring the summoning conditions. So, this card is the way you summon Punishment Dragon to the field instead of just using him as graveyard fodder to summon him. So, it's a great card, kind of hard to get out, but so that's why it's a 1 of right now. If there becomes a more consistent way to be able to summon more each game, I'll probably bump it up a little bit to maybe 2. And then play 1 copy of Minerva, the Athenian Lightsworn. Lightsworn monsters you control cannot be banished by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Minerva, the Athenian Lightsworn, once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can send Lightsworn monsters with different types from your deck to the graveyard, up to the number of Lightsworn monsters used as this card's material. You can banish up to 4 Lightsworn monsters from your graveyard, send that many cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. So this just gives you an extension as well for possibly milling another 4 cards. Because, like I said, you could hit 4 of your cards that require milling to get put on the field. Could be Lightsworn Aegis, could be Wolf, could be Fleece, could be any of those. So this is just another extender when it comes to milling cards. We play 1 copy of Michael the Arch Lightsworn. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, then target 1 card on the field. Banish that target. So he's just another spot destruction. When this card is destroyed, you can target any number of other Lightsworn monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. So this is just recursion then. Once they've activated and gone to the field or just end up in the graveyard, this is a recursion to get them back into your deck and get them going again, okay? And if you do, gain 300 life points for each return card. During the end of each end phase, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So, like I said, that card there is great later in the game. If you've already milled through most of your cards, if you can summon Michael, do that. Shuffle your cards back in from the graveyard. You have an entire arsenal back in your hand, or back in your deck, so you can start milling again. We'll play 1 copy of Judgment, the Dragon of Heaven. If you single summon this card, all materials must be the same attribute. Once per turn, if you have 4 more tuners with different names in your graveyard and control this synchro summon card, you can pay half your life points to destroy all of the cards on the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except dragon monsters. Once per turn, during your end phase, banish 4 cards from the top of your deck. So, this is just more banishment power. Normally you just want to mill them and send them to the graveyard, but that plays more into your Lightsworn abilities. So I then threw this card in there because, once again, it's kind of a mock Lightsworn card. Same colors, same look, same feathers. This is Light and Dragon, and it takes 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner light monsters. Add attack declaration. If this card battles another monster, you can have this card lose 500 attack permanently. And the monster this card is battling loses 1,500 attack until the end phase. So if someone's attacking you, or I'm guessing if you're attacking someone else, it's still an attack declaration. He can lose 500, go down to 21. If you're fighting a 3,000 point monster and you drop that takes it down to 1,500. You can swing over it. It's another way to take out big beat sticks that otherwise you wouldn't be able to take out. So I threw it in here as just a way to swing over the bigger beat sticks that I can't get rid of. I then play 1 copy of Fortune Lady Every. This card's attack and defense become its level times 400. Once per turn, during your standby phase, increase this card's level by 1, max of 12. Then you can banish 1 face-up monster your opponent controls during your opponent's end phase. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 1 other spellcaster monster from your graveyard. Special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Fortune Lady every once per turn. Just another fun little tech card to throw in there. Then we play 2 copies of Minerva, the Exalted Lightsworn. This one is very easy to go into. That's why there's 2 copies of it. You can detach 1 material from this card, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Once again, more mill power. Then draw cards equal to the number of Lightsworn cards sent to the graveyard by this effect. So remember, it says Lightsworn cards. So it could be like the traps, Lightsworn cards. It could be the spells. It could be the monsters. Either way, it's Lightsworn cards, not just monsters. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card is in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Then you can destroy cards on the field up to the number of Lightsworn cards sent to the graveyard by this effect. Oh, you send the top 3 cards of your group. So, once again, Lightsworn cards. More milling. We then play 1 copy of Starliege Paladinamo. This just takes 2 level 4 light monsters, which you can do easily in this deck. Once per turn, you can detach 2 XZ monsters, or 2 XZ materials from this card to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes 0, and if it does, its effects are negated. When this card you control is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, and sent to the graveyard, draw a card. So another way to get rid of your big pesky boss monsters your opponent controls. We play 1 Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. Once per chain during your main phase, your opponent battle phase. If your opponent has more total cards in their hand and field than you do, quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, destroy all other cards on the field. Also, your opponent takes no further battle damage this turn. So really that effect is used on their turn, because that way it doesn't affect you from still damaging them. So just keep that in mind. Next, we play the effect negation and the board wipe. This is kind of standard in most Xyz decks. You play 1 Zeus, 1 Typhon, board wipe, negation of monsters with 3,000 attack or more. So this is just kind of your standard package. We then play 1 copy of Lina the Light Charmer, Lustrous. This card is always treated as a familiar possessed card, so that doesn't really affect this deck, but just keep in mind. You can target 1 Lightsworn monster in your opponent, or 1 light monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon it to your zone this card points to. If this linked monster summoned card is destroyed by battle or is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while it's in its owner's control, you can add 1 light monster with 1,500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. So this just is another search for a card if it's destroyed. Also a way to get another light monster on your field from your opponent's grave. Most decks now are light or dark, it seems. So that's why we also play a copy of Dark, the Dark Charmer. Same effect basically as Lina, but with the dark monsters. And then we play a generic pop in the form of Nightmare Unicorn. If this card is link summoned, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 card on the field, return it to the deck. So that's the main effect of that. The other one is more of co-linked and more nightmare effects. So we really just use that for the first effect. But that is it for the Lightsworn deck. This deck is a great fun deck that like I've said multiple times now. Fun to play with your buddies if you're just trying to have some fun. Definitely one of my favorite decks, like I said in my post. This deck, along with the Dark Magicians, got me back into the game. So this is a blast to play. If you've never played it before, try this out. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know if you have any techs that you have in your minds that I could add to this and make it better. But I appreciate your time for watching. Thank you for visiting. If you have the ability to, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys all next time. See ya.